So let's start with all the positives because it is a positive night. I know some people have already voiced some complaints on social media, but overall my feeling is I'm happy with everything that I've seen tonight, and it's another fantastic win for England. And for the third major tournament in a row, England progressed to the quarterfinals. So no complaints from me there whatsoever. And the other thing that we have to say is that of the 4 knockout games we've seen so far at this World Cup, England are the only team to win by a 3-goal margin, and England are the only team not to concede. And that is a fantastic achievement in itself, because we have had some very good nations playing against some particularly weak nations. And I think Senegal are arguably the hardest opponent that any of the favourites have had to play so far. So to get a 3-0 win, I think is a fantastic performance and a fantastic statement of intent of what we can do and what we can achieve as this team. I also have to say I think Gareth Southgate got the team selection right. I was very disappointed not to see Marcus Rashford in the starting lineup. As you all know, the thumbnail from the previous reaction video was that Rashford must start. But the decisions that he made tactically were justified. I thought Saka was brilliant on the right. I thought Foden was outstanding on the left-hand side. And having Henderson and Rice behind, not so much behind, but certainly allowing Bellingham to just completely be free to do everything that he wants, really brought out the best in Jude Bellingham today. I thought he was absolutely outstanding. So I can't complain about Rashford not getting picked from what I saw from the players. And of course, Jordan Henderson popping up with a goal as well. So team selection was more than justified. I'm so happy that he started with the 4 at the back as well. And I'm praying that when we get to the semi-final, when we get to the quarter-final and beyond, hopefully, he's going to stick with this 4 back. I hope he doesn't bottle it and goes to the 5 back. But we'll touch on that when we talk about that in a moment. Other than that, yeah, I think to a man, I thought everyone played really, really well. I was slightly disappointed in Harry Kane again. I know he got his goal, but he looks like he's playing injured. He really looks like he's not fully fit, Harry Kane. His touch was still slow. When he was dropping off, he wasn't then busting a gut to get back into the box to get on the end of things. So I'm a little bit concerned about Harry Kane still. But other than that, the overall performances to a man were absolutely fantastic. Not too many mistakes, certainly in the latter half of the game. And in the end, a comfortable victory where we were able to even take some players off that potentially needed a rest for the quarter-final game. I will touch on a couple of negatives before giving you my thoughts about France, because there were a few things that were a little bit concerning, and if those things aren't addressed, we could be in a lot of trouble when it comes to Saturday night. And the first of those is the first 25 minutes. We were really, really poor. We were so slow to start. We just didn't look up. It almost like we didn't look up for the game. It was very reminiscent of the USA performance, very reminiscent of the first half of the Wales performance. And that's why it's a bit of a concern, because that suggests there is a theme developing where we start off incredibly slowly. And in particularly in those first 25 minutes, I was really disappointed with the passing, and everyone was culpable for that. I've spoken about how good Harry Maguire has been so far this tournament. Maguire was giving away the ball an awful lot in those opening stages, and a couple of chances came from him giving the ball away. And just a few lapses in concentration gave Senegal chances that, when it comes to playing France at the weekend, when you give players of more pace and more quality those sort of opportunities in the opening stages of a match, we could find ourselves 2 or 3-0 down and in an unrecoverable position before we even get going. So that is a major concern for me. And to be honest, I don't think there's too much more I can complain about. I think we managed the game really, really well. After those 25 minutes, we certainly built ourselves into the game. We started to create half chances. And then, of course, the goal that started things off, an absolutely phenomenal team goal. Everyone involved deserves massive credit. Phil Foden, I think, is the reason we scored that goal. He was able to suck 2 players onto him, and that little flick round the corner to Harry Kane just opened the whole pitch up. Allowed Bellingham to make the run in behind, allowed Kane to slip Bellingham away, and then that, of course, then allowed Henderson to step up into Bellingham's position and put the ball in the net. Phenomenal goal, certainly England's best goal of the tournament so far, in my opinion. And then from there, like I say, we just controlled it absolutely fine. So in terms of the performance on the night, I'm really happy and I'm feeling positive going into the French game. Do I think that set of players playing that style of play can beat the French? Right now, I'm happy to say I don't know. And the reason I'm happy to say I don't know is because I'm not saying no, if that makes sense. I can't just sit here and say if we play like that against France, we'll lose. So I'm not 100% sure that we will. I think that defensive style of play is not going to suit how the French like to attack. If you're playing Kyle Walker at right back and we're playing deep, Mbappe's not going to be able to exploit the pace because Kyle Walker won't let him. My only real concern would be playing that deep with Ousmane Dembele going at Shaw and Maguire. That would be my biggest concern. But I don't know. I still think we're capable of beating France. I'd still like to see Rashford play against France. I know that's probably just coming across as incredibly biased just because of how much I love Rashford as a Manchester United fan. But I think if we are going to sit in deep, we're going to need to be able to stretch the French defence on the counter-attack, and Rashford is the best bet for that. Who you take out for him, though, I'm not really sure, because you have to play Foden, you have to play Bellingham, you have to play Saka. And I think certainly Gareth Southgate, we know, is going to play Rice and Henderson or Rice and Phillips. And I can't say that wouldn't be justified. I thought Henderson played really well today. I wouldn't complain if I saw him in the starting lineup against France. I wouldn't complain if it was the exact same starting lineup against France. I would complain if he went back to the 5 at the back, but I think he believes in this team. We all know that. I'm starting to think he's believing more in the players overall, and he's trusting the system that has been put in place for this World Cup. And fingers crossed, it's enough to beat an unbelievably good French side who looked very, very good today against Poland. Didn't take them took them longer than I thought to get it going, but in the end it was just some Mbappe brilliance. But like I said, I really believe if there is one man in world football that can stand up to Mbappe in the right back position, it would be Kyle Walker. He can match him for pace, he can match him for physicality. He just needs a little bit of help from John Stones, maybe from Jordan Henderson, maybe from Bukayo Saka, just at times when Mbappe does those little cutbacks. But if you do your jobs well, I think this team is more than capable of beating the French. Just need, like I say, those first 25 minutes are going to be crucial. Because if we play like we did against America, we play like we did against Wales, and we play like we did today in the opening stages of this football match, we will be gone in the game before we hit the periods of the game where we do better. So maybe, just maybe, I'd like to see a little mini opening salvo where we try and catch the French off guard. They're not going to be expecting us to hit them early, but I just think maybe those first 5, maybe first 10 minutes, we just give them a little bit of high press, give them something they're not expecting, try and catch them out and maybe nick an early goal. And then, obviously, if they do manage to hit us in behind a couple of times in those opening few minutes, then we say, right, that's a risk not worth taking right now. We'll build ourselves into the game and then try and pick them off later on. So I'm positive. I'm optimistic. I believe we are capable of beating the French if we can get it right on the night. I also think the French are probably on paper the best team we are going to face at this World Cup, no matter where we go to beyond the French. I don't think we will play a tougher game than we will against France. So, touch wood, fingers crossed. If we beat France, you never know. We might just be able to say those magic words. But for now, like I say, I'm optimistic. I'm happy with the win. I'm happy with the performance. And fingers crossed we get past the French on Saturday and start a journey that could end in something very special in a couple of weeks' time. So, thank you very much for watching. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about tonight's game. Do you think it is realistic to think that we can beat France, or are we just lambs for the slaughter like everyone else has been so far in this World Cup? What would you do? Would you make any changes to the team? And yeah, just let me know. Drop a like on the video, of course, if you enjoy what I've said. And I'll see you tomorrow morning for the next round of predictions. Thank you very much for watching.